quick disclaimer, everything I'm talking about, for the most part, just very comprehensive history. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Now, what if I were to tell you that the assassination of a man led to the creation of anime? Technically, it's more so of like a butterfly effect type situation. So it didn't directly lead to it, but it led to the events that led to the creation of it. So the year is 1914. There had been a failed assassination attempt on Archduke Ferdinand. And because of this, they decided, you know what, we're just going to go down this different path, which conveniently just happened to be the exact same street where another assassin was waiting. How you managed to escape death and then walk right back into it, a little bit of a skill issue. Can't get me wrong, but hey, it happens. So the assassin walks up, looks at him, and kind of decides, not today, buddy. Took a shot. World War I happens. Now, see, the thing you got to understand is that World War I Japan was moving like prime Kobe.
He's right. I walk shit down, nigga!
While everybody else was busy fighting their front over in Europe, Japan was out there capturing territory, land, and anything that they could grab. And just as shockingly, they were grabbing a lot of this territory from China and Germany, including things like the Marshall Islands, the Caroline Islands. There was a port they had captured in Tsingtao. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. Japan seems to really like their islands and ports. I hope this doesn't come back to bite us in the ass in the future. At the end of the whole war, the Treaty of Versailles basically made it to where the Japanese were officially the landowners of the territories they had captured. After that all happened, Japan felt very, very confident. They were super fucking happy. They managed to go to war, get a bunch of territory, expand their power. They were doing great. They were essentially in the prime of their era. They were in their it girl phase. Germany, on the other hand, got a very, very bad end of the stick, which not a fun experience if you were them. The Treaty of Versailles for Germany was a very different experience, on the other hand. Where it had helped out Japan, on Germany's end, it basically meant they had to take the full blame of everything that happened. And they also had to pay back a nice little debt that was considered a reparation to, just about every other country for them causing the war, of course. Just a small little fee, a couple 152 billion, which, at the time was not a fun amount. It's still not a fun amount today. So to give comparison to modern day, that would be more or less about like 500 billion, somewhere around that mark. And the issue is Germany had no way to pay this back. They do what any sane and intelligent people would do. They try to print as much money as they could and accidentally just crash their own economy instead.
I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
While all this was going on, we also accidentally entered into my favorite time period, the Great Depression. So while the U.S. was just being broke and just enjoying moonshine and Bonnie and Clyde, our friends over in Europe were experiencing something on the rise. So eventually comes to the rise of power, Germany's favorite mustache model, a man who had seen a problem that had been occurring in their native Germany. And by do something about it, I mean he tried to gas and see, everything was going great up until about the point that they invaded the Russians. Well, Soviets, technically. The greatest things you could learn in history is you never attack Russia in winter. Ever. As Germany's fighting its own losing war, Japan had decided to try to make one by doing the one thing that many countries have done and live to regret. They touched America's boats. If you're a history buff, you will know you don't touch America's boats. Through them touching America's boats, America had learned that we can synthesize the power of the sun. So America, with their newfound power, decided like, hey, we're gonna go through real quick and we're gonna drop one or two. Japan eventually made a surrender because they did not want to run the risk of facing the sun for a third time.
No.
And they eventually kind of got pushed out of power. They didn't really have much choice. Morale was dying. A whole city or two got wiped out. Not a fun time. So following the end of the war, America had ended up occupying Japan And they ended up bringing over a lot of Western culture with them, including magazines, books, movies, and Disney. You already know, anywhere we go, we got to bring Disney with us. The influx of media had actually inspired some Japanese folk. One very specific one being Osamu Tezuki, who had taken a very fond liking to the movie Bambi, specifically the eyes.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
So they'd seen the way in American cartoons the eyes were very like exaggerated and just popped out, and decided to take some inspiration and make his own animated show, thus being Astro Boy. Now, if you haven't heard of Astro Boy is essentially one of the precursors to modern anime. It is the first, well, by definition, modern animes in terms of style and how it looked. Now, over the years, we've seen anime grow from a very niche subculture to a very mainstream one, not only just in Japan, but just worldwide. With every subculture comes a subset. With the rise of anime also came the rise of hentai, which shockingly has been one of the top ranking categories in many countries. And so, yes, technically, by some default, by some weird way, um, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in 1914 had led to the reconstruction of Japan, and through the reconstruction of Japan, led to the creation of hentai. Do what you will with this information. I suggest, I don't fucking know. If you guys like this little brief comprehensive history, it, I mean, it's nothing too serious, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe, leave a little like on it. And aside from that, let me know what you guys want to see next.